you, Mr. Secretary, for coming. We appreciate your hard work, and we, know how difficult it is. And I just want to say, too, I know you have your fingerprints all over the National Defense Strategy that I think is one of the most comprehensive approaches we've taken through the military to address some of the big challenges that we have. And I just want to take 30 seconds because I know you're a big picture thinker, and I don't want you to comment because I don't want to get you in trouble. But we sit in these committees, whether it's the Vets Committee or the Defense Appropriations Committee, and we have to have a bigger strategy on how we make some of these investments. And we talked about how much veterans are going to get squeezed. We see what's happening in the military with investments we need to make along the lines of technologies and all of the things that you wrote about. And under the current budget situation, and I'm going to say it, the huge tax cuts, we've got to start making an evaluation here of where are we going to get the money to make these long-term investments in the people who served our country and our military, and investments in education and research. And I'm just saying that to you because I know how you think, and I know that you would appreciate that. So I do have a couple.
I will make one comment, and I appreciate your courtesy. You were one of the folks who was an exception to the rule, where we were, for good reason, concentrating on Afghanistan and Iraq, but you made several very important speeches, and I think I used one or two of them in my part of the strategy, that we can't take our eye off the Pacific, and I thank you for that. That was very forward-looking at a time when others weren't doing that.
Appreciate that. So two quick questions. One, what we try to do, all of us, is stay in very close contact with our veteran service organizations. And we're proud in the county that I grew up in Trumbull County, Ohio, that our veteran service officer there, Herm Brewer, is head of the National Association of Veteran Service Officers. So we stay in pretty close contact. And the issue that we hear about through our VSOs is what Mr. Cartwright was touching upon. I know you guys had a statement that you released by your department on March 2nd announcing the hiring of 7 new veteran law judges, that you said that 2019 was a historic year for the Board of Veterans Appeals, and we appreciate that. And you look forward to reaching new milestones in 2020. Yet despite the improvements in adjudicating these claims, those seeking to get their aid and attendance pension benefits claim validated are having to wait at least 12 months. And the income-based pension is sought by those who are already in hardship. And these delays are only making matters worse. So if you could elaborate briefly on how your department plans on shortening these wait times for the vets who are already struggling to make ends meet.
Yes, sir. So just to clarify, so in talking to Herm, right, he's the head of the NAC VSOs. We spent a lot of time with him. Your question has encompassed two things, so let me pull them apart. The first thing was about appeals modernization. So you talked about the judges and the like, right? So we're a year into that, and it's going very well. There are some things that need to be figured out. So from a VBA perspective, you can come to 2 lanes to get a decision. Higher level review, for example, that's moving much faster. But you're right, the Board of Veterans Appeals continues to have hearings that are from the legacy, and they're working through that as fast as they can. Automation, telehearings, more judges. So that's certainly something that's being worked through and thought through. And I believe they have a plan to have those kind of resolved by 2022. It's just the changeover to the new system. And we know the VSOs have been great partners in this. They were there at the beginning designing it. They provide us good feedback even a year later of who'd have thought, nobody knew. Here's some changes we make, and we do all those. The second thing is around pension and fiduciary. You're right, those waits are too long. This is something we've been thinking about hard since I arrived. As I said earlier, we're bringing automation to that. It is a very difficult and manual process where you have to check, verify, and the like. And so we're trying to do that much, much faster. We know that is an issue, and we're working on that. Happy to talk to you more in detail about some of those things.
Please let us know.
I would say, sir, that in terms of the Board of Veterans Appeals, we set a record in terms of hearings last year with 95,000, and that's still not enough. But if I may digress for a second, beg your indulgence, and this goes to problems with the budget. Not this committee's fault, but past administrations, Republican and Democrat, have consistently underfunded and under-requested for IT in exchange for other issues. This committee has been in the forefront of saying that's wrong. So we are in the process of putting things in the cloud. We are in the process on the appeals of making it available through telehealth. But it's all part of a change in a very antiquated system.
Can I sneak one quick question in? Thanks, Madam Chair. Many of the service members that deployed to Camp Stronghold Freedom in Uzbekistan are ill with cancer and neurological problems. Several are in my congressional district. They saw black ooze seeping from floorboards, fluorescent water, and dug fighting positions and filled sandbags with dirt, later confirmed to be contaminated. Could you describe how your department is handling providing medical services for these veterans and preventing the situation from devolving into a decades-long struggle, much akin to the fight over Agent Orange and burn pits in Iraq and Afghanistan?
Let me begin by saying I was there. I had units stationed there when I was still in uniform and was up there.
Was this your experience too?
Tough location.
Do you recall that?
Tough location primarily because the Russians had used it to recondition aircraft engines, and therefore there was large amounts of chemicals and exposure in that area, and it was a tough one to wall that off with the locals. What we're welcoming is the veteran coming to us for care. Now, it is DOD's responsibility to find out what was in that area, but I can tell you as a service member who served there and had units stationed there, it was a problem for the entire time that we were there. And so we look forward to DOD's delineation of what the chemicals were, but veterans need to come to us for care. It is not dissimilar to what we're dealing with in the burn pits. We've got 50,000 veterans that have registered for the burn pit registry, but they haven't come in for care. A very small number have actually come to us for care. They need to come in so that we can begin to fully understand the scope of this problem.
And we won't turn them away.
Well, we got to make sure we communicate that and amplify that, what you just said. So if you guys can clip this and have your communications team push this out, come, to come see us.
And you were right, we don't want another Agent Orange
Yeah,
And
20 years.
right.